everyone, thanks for watching. My name's Jess and I'm here to talk about all things regarding finding out you have a narcissistic family. I have a narcissistic parent and a narcissistic sister, and today I want to talk about a question that I've been thinking about for the last little while, which is the discussion or the subject of whether narcissists are evil. And the reason it popped into my mind was I was watching a video. Actually, it was in an interview of Jordan Peterson, the psychologist. I should say Dr. Jordan Peterson, Professor Peterson. For those of you who don't know, he's a bit of a polarizing figure, so I don't really want to go into that. I think he's got a lot of people who really find him. He is quite outspoken, and it took me a while to figure out where I stood on some of his opinions, but having watched and listened and read, I really, really respect him for being an incredibly intelligent man, very, very well researched. And he seems like outspoken, yes, but a very good soul. I think he genuinely wants to help and to see the world as a better place and to help people. Anyway, so he is a clinical psychologist, and he was being interviewed, and the subject was how to get over past traumas from childhood. And the discussion was actually the example that was brought up in the interview was someone who had been abused as a child, sexually abused by a family member. And Dr. Peterson was saying, basically, as a child, you cannot process that. It's just not in our brains. It's not something that we can work out, because we have to trust the adults around us. And the person who was perpetrating the crime was someone who was in a trusted relationship with the child. So that's not something we can process as children. And his words were, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he said, because that would require us being able to formulate our own, that's what he said, formulate our own idea of evil. And that's something that you can't do as a child. And he then went on to say, actually, it's something incredibly hard to do when you're an adult as well. And that just got me thinking. The word evil, I thought, was really a really interesting word, and one that I don't know, I'm not going to say I struggled with that in that context. But when I started thinking it through, I was thinking, okay, well, if it's evil to abuse a child, physically or sexually, then is it evil to abuse someone emotionally and mentally? And so I'm interested in it because I have been brought up by my family to really shy away from negatively labeling anybody or anything else. If I say anything negative, then I was, always told, it would just reflect back on me, I guess. And I think that's very true in a lot of ways. You don't want to go around, bad mouthing people or just throwing out accusations here or there. But I think there's a very big difference to, going out with a kind of a negative view of the world and throwing out assumptions, to actually telling the truth and saying it like it is. So I don't know, the thought just stuck with me, and that's why I wanted to chat with it, because I was started thinking it through and thought, well, if abuse is abuse and it causes harm, and I've done another video on physical versus mental abuse, and it's a discussion and it's just my opinion, but there's a huge amount of I think there's a lot of emotional problems that would come with physical abuse, and there's a lot of and there can be physical problems that come with emotional abuse as well. So it's obviously a continuum, and I think it's more the severity of the abuse that is the most important thing versus the type of abuse it is. And maybe physical abuse can only, or sexual abuse, I imagine, can only be very serious. But I think that long-term, systematic, constant emotional and mental abuse can be and is just as damaging. So that comes back to my question, are narcissists evil? Well, so I looked up evil, because I'm not I realize I'm getting into that philosophy area in a lot of ways. I looked up evil, and the definition was something that, again, I'm paraphrasing, but either something very immoral or something, or wicked. That was a kind of a synonym, is wicked. So I looked up wicked, what wicked is. And a wicked act or a wicked person is something or somebody that intentionally or will not actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I don't know if it was intentionally, but an action that will cause harm to others. Well, that's narcissism all over, right? Actions that cause harm to others. And so when I look at it in that kind of black and white context, then there is no doubt that some of the actions that, not all of them, but some, and actually a lot of the actions that my family have taken recently have been wicked or evil. And just for background, the situation I found myself in was having been brought into an illegal fraudulent scheme by my sister, and trying to be forced by her and my parents to go along with it, not say anything. There was blackmail. There was a lot of challenges dealing with that. So that obviously was immoral and caused a lot of harm and a lot of damage. And it wasn't just the committing of the fraud that, in my mind, made it so bad. It's the continued denial of what happened, the trying to frame me for it, and make me out to be the scapegoat. So, yeah, in my mind, what they did, and if you look up the definition of it, yeah, it was evil. Does that mean that narcissists are evil? Are we what our actions are? Because if I do a bad thing, and I do, because I'm human, I do dumb things, I do stupid things. Sometimes I get crazy and I'm, a bitch. And I should know better, and I do know better, but occasionally it happens. Does that mean I am a bad person? I hope not. Am I a decent person that occasionally does some questionable things? I hope that's more realistic. So is a narcissist evil because they have done an evil thing? I don't know. But here's the thing. This is what I do know, and this is what I think is important. Is it doesn't matter. What I've found the problem for me has been, and I think it's part of the codependence relationship that I have with my family, where I'm enmeshed in trying to support them, understand them, help them. I've been trying to help my sister and my parents get out of this illegal thing for over a year and they're not interested. Why am I trying to help? Codependency. So dumb. Anyway, what has really helped me as in this kind of evil thought process is what they did is just sitting with the idea of what they did is evil. And because that word is so black and white for me and in my vocabulary and in my understanding, if I can just sit with the idea that what they did was evil, not necessarily that they are evil, but what they did was so egregiously bad that I can put it under the category evil, it kind of helps with that mental churning that I go through and I think is quite often happens when you're trying to escape and detach yourself from a narcissistic relationship, that those constant questions of, did I do something wrong? Was it really me? What could I have done differently? How could this have gone a different way if XYZ could have happened? All those machinations, all that thought process. And it's exhausting and it's so repetitive. It's incredibly boring after a while. If you've got any kind soul who wants to support you and wants to listen, oh good God, my poor husband is bored senseless, I think, sometimes of hearing about this. He's like, Jesus, I get it, I support you, but he won't say it, but I know he's just like, when is this gonna end? And I'm the same. When am I going to get the mental freedom? So for me, using that word evil, I don't use it lightly, but I use it truthfully and what I think is, from what I can tell, quite accurately. It means that what they've done is absolutely unequivocally unacceptable. I don't need to think about it anymore. I don't need to have any guilt. I don't need to have any question marks around it. It's done. They did it. And that is up to them to sort it out. It is not up to me. I have no responsibility. So, those are my thoughts on narcissism and evil. Thanks for being here. I don't know if you have any different thoughts, or if you have anything, or just want to say hi, then I love to hearing from you. I like reading all your comments. So, thanks for being here. If you are in a situation involving a narcissist that is harming you, then please do remember, under the definition, if they're intentionally harming you. And by intention, they may pretend that they're not. You may think that they don't understand, but if it's a one-off and then you get, I'm really sorry, I really didn't mean to do that, I'll make sure it doesn't happen again, that kind of conversation, then okay, maybe not evil, maybe not narcissist. But if it's a consistent thing, if there's denial, if there's gaslighting around it, pretending it didn't happen, pretending it happened differently, pretending it's your fault, it is evil. It is not your fault. It is not your responsibility, and you need to do whatever you need to do to look after yourself and not get tied up in it. Thanks for being here. Take care, everyone. Lots of love.